Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of the B Schmaltzy Show. Today we are joined by a good friend of mine, John Cadillac Saville, who's a DJ, entertainer, wedding planner or entertainer, just amazing person. And we're going to find out what it's like to live the John Cadillac lifestyle here on the B Schmaltzy Show. As soon as I find
Oh, nice. I like that.
Thank you. So welcome, John. So tell us just a quick, brief background. What got you into this industry?
Like the Reader's Digest version, kind of, right?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, sure. But back in high school, when I played, football, basketball, baseball, track and field, I wanted to be, at that point, a professional athlete. At least my dad wanted to be a professional athlete. But I always, first and foremost, loved music. I love people. I love sharing my passion with people about music. And so I would entertain like during halftime, during the football games, because we were always getting our butts kicked. And I needed to do something to lift everybody up. So I take the forearm pad and I would make believe I'm doing my Casey Kasem or my Rick Dees. And I would be doing the top 40 countdown and just making people laugh with my lingo, the DJ lingo. So people said, man, you got the voice for it. You got the passion. You love all genres of music. You really should be a DJ. And then even going back farther, I used to take a pen and interview people when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And mom and dad would have people come over. They'd pick me up, put me up on the kitchen table, and I would interview people. So they knew right then and there it was going to be something in the broadcasting industry. It was going to be either that or sports. But I think my body thanks me more for not going into football, because at least I could be at this age and still not have any major injuries.
Right. Wow. So you kind of had this mapped out from the beginning. Not that it was intentional that way. It just kind of flowed early on in your life.
It really did. I think I had that calling right away. Like a lot of people say they change when they go from high school to college, their major or what they want to do multiple times. I always knew, Tony, in the back of my mind, I wanted to be in the radio broadcast business. Not to be a star or that DJ, but because I always wanted to share my passion for music with people. And my style is let's make it like one big living room. Let's talk about this artist, their new album. Let's talk about what they do, whether they butter their popcorn or not, what their favorite show on Netflix is, what their favorite movies are, who their favorite sports team is. So when I bring them on the air or talk about them, I humanize them right away. And I think that's really important about the relationship.
Absolutely. So for those of you guys that are just joining in, we're here with John Cadillac Saville.
Wow, you did your homework there, Tony.
I had to do a little promo video for you there. I had to get something thrown up.
Very cool. Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. I'll send that to you here when we're all done.
I would love to have a copy of that.
Absolutely. And I love that picture of you and young Garth. Holy Toledo. I mean,
that was back in 1994 when he was just about 5 years into the business. And I was hosting a couple of his concerts in New Haven. And the guy's amazing. I learned a lot, Tony, about how to treat people from my parents. But it was also pretty much vindicated by Garth, because before I brought him out on stage, he had pizza in the back. He was chatting with everybody. And as he was going up to the stairs onto the stage, he noticed a custodian in the back. And he said, "Sir, I just want to let you know that pizza is also for you too, if you'd like to have some of that." He was humble enough to realize that man mattered, or that person mattered. And I learned with Garth that everybody's the same. Whether you're a CEO of a company or you're the person pushing the broom, we're all God's children, and treat people with respect and dignity. And Garth really exemplifies that.
And I've heard that before. I've only seen interviews. I haven't met him in person or anything, but you're not the first person to tell me that, of those that have met him. And it's a common misconception. A lot of people, look at those that are rich or famous as people who are, up on a pedestal, and they don't realize these are real people. Real people. And
people that don't forget their roots.
Exactly. And when you actually meet these people in person, you find out that that's what they are. It's just another person.
They're like you and I, same thing. It's like in the business, people say, well, who have you met? And I don't know if I could ever meet that person. I would like lose my voice or slip over my tongue. And I've never, ever been starstruck. Ever since I was a little kid, I just have always looked at people just like you and I, whether it be a sports figure, entertainment. And I've always had that, I look at them, I see them when they show or something. They have their baseball cap on. They're torn up jeans. They're just like you and I. They've just, they've just gone to a higher level in their field.
That's right. And I can't say that I haven't been starstruck. And now I'm not anymore. But back when I was 15 at the time, I actually met Clint Eastwood. And that was when I was 15. That was a big deal. My cousin lived in Monterey, California, and his grandma, not on my side, his side, lived in Pebble Beach, and Clint Eastwood was actually her neighbor, like next door neighbor. Yeah. And so we went over there, and I had no idea that he was her neighbor. And so we went over to visit his grandma, and we're walking up, and here he is out here working on his own flowers, his own garden.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that, he's like, yeah, hey Clint, how's it going? I'm like, hey, how you doing? Go ahead, make my day. I'm like,
right. Yeah, he's an amazing guy. He did that movie Pink Cadillac back in the 90s with Bernadette Peters.
Yeah.
And the radio station was doing a promotion with that. So they flew a couple of us down to the premiere, and that's where I met him for the first time. And we were talking about, jazz music, because he loves jazz, but he also loves country a lot too. And he showed up in a beat up old truck, and like I said, he doesn't try to impress anybody. He's just who he is. And I was really, really impressed by that. Just his ability to be relatable and normal. And he wasn't hiding himself. He didn't think he was that big of a deal. He never carried himself that way. And I admire people like that.
No, and you're absolutely right. I mean, even visualizing it right now, he wasn't in this enormous house. It was a very humble house. It didn't. You wouldn't have thought there was some movie star living there, and and he just had a conversation with both of us, my cousin and I. So you're right. So that brings me. You mentioned Pink Cadillac. I gotta ask the question. Where does the name come from? Where does the name Cadillac come from?
I mean, I hear that all the time, and then when I tell people, they go, "Oh, you think about the car, the Cadillac Saville."
Right.
So, I mean, even though it's spelled S-E, the car, my name is spelled S-A. But somebody at a radio station, I can't remember which one it was, but they referred to me one morning as Cadillac. And then the name stuck. So when I made an appearance one night hosting a show, somebody in the crowd went, Cadillac! And the name stuck. So I went John Cadillac Saville from that point. And it just kind of rolls off the tongue. John Cadillac Saville. And people love nicknames. People love nicknames anyway. So my wife will say, oh, my husband's a DJ, John Saville. They go, that name sounds so familiar. Cadillac. Oh, yeah, I know him. See, it's a little tap in the back of the head type thing.
Yeah, I agree. And most people that are watching this or that know me call me Schmaltzy. Same thing, They're like, Tony Schmaltz, who? Schmaltzy. All right.
Yeah.
So I get it. And that's awesome. So it's just that simple. Somebody just dropped it on you one day.
Something that simple. I used to go by the name Big John Saville back in the day when I worked at Classic Rock and Top 40 Radio, but I never liked that name because when it just, to me, it connotated the guy that was rather, and I was never quite that way. I've always been into bodybuilding and keeping myself really in good shape and lean and things. So I thought it kind of gave the wrong image at the time.
I agree. And it's funny you mentioned that. I was joking with my wife earlier when we were talking about our show today, and I was like, most people use the phrase, you got a face for radio, and I'm like, I look John up, and he's not only got the face but the body for TV. I'm like, what are you doing on radio?
Well, the thing is, I've always loved radio because I love the anonymity of it. In radio, people focus on what you're saying, but when you're on TV, it's more about what you look like. And I've been offered some jobs in radio and TV in the past to do some news reporting and sports and entertainment reporting, but I've always turned it down. So I just prefer radio. I love the whole medium.
By the way, sorry, Ryan. I just finally realized we had comments going on, so I wasn't posting the comments. So we had some interaction going on.
Hey, Ryan.
Ryan was talking about having Garth Brooks tickets. He must have posted that a while ago.
Oh, Ryan, you're gonna love him. I mean, when I saw him, it was back in '94. He's gonna be up here where I live. I live in the Hartford, Connecticut area. I work at multiple iHeart stations up here, and he's going to be coming to Gillette Stadium, the home of the Patriots, this summer. And Garth has only gotten better over the years. He's gotten better because of all the experience, and he just knows how to play to a crowd as good as anybody I've ever seen. Amazing, amazing talent.
That guy is an entertainer like it's nobody's business.
He is.
I mean, not only is he a great musician and a great vocalist, just to be the way he, like you said, the way he works a crowd. There's not many people I've seen like that.
No, he's a great man. Most important.
So speaking of Gillette Stadium, does that mean you're a Patriots fan?
No, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Really?
Yeah,
wow, I know. I wouldn't have pegged that.
Some of the people watching right now, I'm like, oh no, But I mean, Cowboys, they're either you love them or you hate them, right? Right? You either love them or you hate them. And it's tough being a Cowboy fan because it's just that I've always been a Dallas fan. I like the early Dallas Cowboys a little bit better when I was growing up. The ones from the early to mid '90s. When Jimmy Johnson was the coach.
Yes.
I really liked it. Even going back to Tom Landry. That's going maybe a little bit farther back than some people watching now, but I've always been a big fan. It's a little bit difficult to like them as much now, to be quite blunt.
Yeah.
But loyalty, I'm just loyal to the team.
Hey, I'm the same way. I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan. Have been since the day I was born, so I get it. Which means I'm not really a big Dallas Cowboys fan, but but that's okay though, because one of my best friends is, and I always say, okay, if you're over watching football and they're not playing the Seahawks, I'll root for them because they're your team. But if they're playing against each other, forget it.
I'll never forget that time when the Cowboys, all they had to do was kick that field goal, and they would have won against the Seahawks. Remember Tony Romo fumbled the snap, tried to run it in, didn't make it in, and Seattle. So Too Tall Jones, yes, that Too Tall Jones, one of my favorites. He ended up going into boxing too. A little bit later on.
Really?
Yeah, he did. He did for a little while.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've heard a little bit about your high school leading up to getting how you got started in this industry. Now, give us a little more of the story. I mean, now how many you've been on different radio stations? I mean, what's been your favorite? Give us something here.
I mean, I'm a music guy, so it doesn't make any difference what I'm playing. I love it. I feel very, very blessed and grateful to be doing what I'm doing. So I worked at a hip hop station. I worked at Top 40. I've done classic rock. I've done jazz. I've done classical. I've done rhythm and blues. I love it all. Country, no matter what. So right now I'm working at multiple iHeart stations up here in Hartford. A country station, contemporary country, classic hits, and a Top 40 station. So I can pivot from one station to another, and I don't even have to think about it. I mean, I may change up my style a little bit depending on the format, but ultimately it's about being genuine. Just being who you are. Because people can smell and sense a phony in a heartbeat. So if you're real, and they'll call you out on it too. So just be who you are. And I think one of the best compliments is whenever I'm making a personal appearance, they'll say, man, you're exactly the same off the air as you are on the air.
Right.
Yeah. And that to me is a compliment.
It really is. It really is. You're right. And that was like Ryan here, who's been interacting with us a little bit. First time I met him, it was very similar phrase. He's like, Schmaltzy, we only interacted online before. And he's like, man, you are just as schmaltzy in person as you are. I'm like, I think that's good.
Well, hopefully I have a new friend with Ryan too, Ryan. So I appreciate you, buddy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you definitely do. Ryan's an amazing man. And he's also, he's a part of, I showed you this book earlier. So he's a part of the Giants and the Smalls.
Gotcha.
And a part of this network. We love Ryan. He's a great guy.
And anybody doing it right now, I mean, I encourage any kind of comments or questions, please, feel free, because the more interaction we have, the better. I love it.
Absolutely. I agree. And I mean, we're only on, I don't know, 6 different places right now. So there should be no reason why people can't jump in.
Yeah.
So tell us something you don't normally share with people.
What don't I? Well, I did go to. This is kind of weird, I don't say this a lot. My wife likes to brag about it a little bit, but I was in Playgirl magazine, not the whole thing, but they had a contest back in the early '90s. Supposedly the hottest DJs in the country, and I won that or came in the top, couple with that. That was back in the early '90s, but they actually had a record down there, so that way, you know what I mean. So they did it in a classy way, but it was a big deal up here, a big promotion up here. But really? I think we did it in such a classy way that even grandma could appreciate it. It wasn't sleazy,
right?
In a way where you're not whatever. So I don't really talk about that much because I don't know. But you asked me, and that was a spur of the moment thing.
Absolutely. Hey,
but my wife loves to talk about it. She likes to brag about that thing, and I go, oh,
Well, see, that's even better. Now she's going to spread the show everywhere to all of her friends that you told the story. So, and so guys, for you guys, so this is now Nick. Nick's the author of The Giants and the Smalls.
Hey, Nick, how are you? Well, Nick, you could tell that they were hurting that day. They figured we're not getting enough people in there. We gotta throw this guy in there just to reach our quota. That's probably what it was, Right.
Well, okay, so he might be being just a little bit modest here, Nick. I mean, because what John's not really sharing yet, that we haven't got into yet, is that even today, he's into bodybuilding. Mm. And what were you saying earlier about you're thinking about doing it again?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it again. Back in 2016, 17, 18, I won the New England Natural bodybuilding show, the strictest tested show in New England. But they do a blood test, urine test, polygraph, just to prove that you're lifetime natural. And, we look more like gymnasts than bodybuilders. So I've always been really kind of an anti-drug advocate myself personally. I don't judge, but that's the way I compete. That's the way I roll.
Right.
And so I do a lot of speaking to young people and everything to try to stay natural, not try to take the shortcuts, and hard work, good nutrition, good work ethic is going to get you where you want to go. I mean, there's no shortcuts to success. And I try to exemplify that when I'm doing the bodybuilding. And I also want to show that we can be ageless. We don't have to be going out there and say, oh, I reached a certain age, I just have to settle. You don't have to be that way.
Right.
So one of my favorite sayings is, don't wait for inspiration, be the inspiration.
Quotas. He was still talking about the Playgirl thing, I think. We're gonna show a little something here just so you guys get an idea. So this is just a little bit here to. Is it?
No, that was very little. That's good.
Here we go. Here's a little John back in the bodybuilding days.
Yeah. and to be totally transparent, that was 20 years ago.
That was 20 years ago there?
Yeah, 20 years ago. I mean, I look good, I like to think, for my, but I don't look that good, that's for sure. That was 20 years ago, Metabolism is a little bit different, but I think I've gotten a little bit leaner since then.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And so what's your nice? What's your plan moving forward?
I just want to go out there. It's like we kind of joke. I mean, I have a very, very deep spiritual aspect to everything I do in life, and I make my plans, but I'm not afraid to let people know how I feel with my beliefs. And it's like one of these things. I move forward, and I just say, hey, wherever God wants me to go, wherever my talents, I always say, Father, use my talents in a whole new way, enlarge my territory, put me in a position where I could be a bigger influence or a bigger blessing in people's lives. So I do a lot of work with nonprofits. I do a lot of work with mentoring. I'm always looking for opportunities to work with people that are hurting. They just need a kind word.
Yeah.
And especially nowadays after COVID, with all the divisiveness going on in the world now, a lot of people feel like they're alienated and they're lost. And if I notice that on social media, Facebook, Instagram, I'll leave them a message, a voice message. Just, hey, Tony, I noticed that things are a little bit rough right now, but I just want to let you know I'm thinking about you. I'm sending a prayer for you and your family. If you need to talk to somebody, I'm here. And if they do reach back out to me, I will get back to them. It's not going to be an empty, like, how people say, if you need my help, no, I'm going to follow up with you.
All right.
Because I just really believe we need to do that more now than ever. I just feel my calling is just go out there, just like be a good shepherd in people's lives.
Absolutely. And I love that about you specifically, that you do that you leave voice messages. So many people send, page-long text messages and don't actually use their voice. And there's that button's there for a reason,
Right.
And if you don't have enough time to call, guess what? A voice message is that much more powerful.
And you do that so well too. And the fact is, I think people really enjoy that component, because a lot of times I'll have people say, I save your messages. And like if they're booking me for a wedding reception, they'll say, hey, this is going to be our DJ. And then they play it for their parents and they play it for their friends, and it's kind of cool. But more importantly, if you're leaving a message of faith and inspiration and they're going through a tough time, they might be in the hospital waiting for a transplant, or they're on a donor list and it's not quite there yet, and they're having a really lousy day. They'll listen to that message, and it will, at least will make them smile a little bit and forget about their problems for at least a little bit.
Right. Well, and it's funny you mentioned that, because this morning when I was meeting the videographers and stuff for our event, the guys for our event, you just left me a voice message. I'm like, this is the guy I was trying to get MC our event. Doesn't he sound like he has a voice for the MC? He's like, man, you got to get that guy. I'm like, I tried. I'm sorry. He's booked solid.
We got to team up, because I was really so hoping I can get together with you to do that event and wherever it may be. But we'll definitely. I mean, I believe that God puts the right people in our paths at the right time. Yep. We were meant to meet. We just met recently. Met through the phone. Just a couple months ago, and now I'm on your podcast now, and who knows where this is going to take us. Making a couple new friends that have checked in tonight, Ryan and Nick. And more people that are listening in right now that haven't reached out yet, but they're listening, just kind of trying to figure us out, a little bit, see if we're for real or not. And I respect that.
Yep. And so what these guys don't know, we'll be on your tour. Yeah. So Nick and Ryan will be there. What these guys don't realize is, and maybe you don't even realize, is that Joe Perone is the one who actually introduced us. He actually has his own show on this network as well. So these guys know Joe real well, just like maybe not as well as you do, but as well as I do. And so it's funny that Joe is the one that introduced us, and he also has a show on this network. Yeah,
we're going to be a guest on his show real soon, but Joe is a class act. A great husband, a great dad, deep belief in God, and very successful businesses. As a matter of fact, Joe's uncle, Tom, sounds like Uncle Tom. I work out with him at Planet Fitness in Brantford, Connecticut, every single day. I think he's doing a 28-day vacation now in Spain and Italy, Tom. God bless him. He's earned it. Right. But he's the one that got this whole deal started, where it's led to you, Tony, through Joe, and there's a whole bunch of people in this network, like 15 to 20 of us, that are all like-minded, trying to do the right thing, trying to do, leave a legacy, wherever we go, and just be good to people. And it just, I just love that. I love getting together with people. I try to get together with people at least 2 or 3 times a week for coffee, like-minded business people, and just sit back and chat, have a cup of coffee, and we just say, hey, how can we help you? Let me learn about your business, what you do, and what can we do to help you grow it? And just hang around with people that are going in the right direction.
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned the coffee. For me, it's turned out to be more breakfast and lunch lately than coffee. It's like, hey, let's get some breakfast. And so I said, okay, let me pick the place. Because remember, I told you I was trying to loosen some weight. And I'm like, all right, let me pick the place. We're not going to go.
You're doing really well. I hear you lost 18 pounds.
18 pounds.
18 pounds. Good for you.
Thank you. So I'm like, all right, we're not going to Dunkin' Donuts. All right, let me go. let me choose the place. But it's been a lot of that. It's been a lot of that lately. And it's a blast. I like you talked about, and you and I have talked about it. It's so much better to get face to face with people, and have that.
I like the Zoom is great. It worked really well during COVID. I think most of us do more Zooms, and during the past 2 years, we did probably 10 years prior. Right. But I really prefer to get together with people that, just get to know them, that eye contact, the body language thing, and just really get a chance to know them. But, but you can't always do that with people. You're where you are. I'm where I am. Yeah. But if somebody's within driving distance, even with the price of gas nowadays, I still want to be able to go out there and see that person.
Absolutely. And you hit kind of the nail on the head for the whole reason we're doing this event coming up in September. It's been, people have been just itching for an in-person event, last couple of years, so many lockdowns or even without lockdowns, events that have been canceled because of everything going around COVID and everything else. So we're like, okay, we're going to put it out here. We're going to put the best event that's been done since COVID started, and here it comes. So here's a little video that one of our speakers in Laban put together the other day.
Oh, great.
Hey, it's Colonel Waldo Waldman, the Wingman, Hall of Fame keynote speaker, combat decorated fighter pilot, and author of the national bestseller, Never Fly Solo.
And I'm Laban Ditchburn, the world's best courage coach and author of Bet on You.
We wanted to let you know that we're excited to be your wingman at the Upgrade Your Life Tour in beautiful Panama City Beach on the 17th and 18th of September. We're going to share some of the leadership strategies we learned as decorated fighter pilots and Courage Top Guns on how you, as Top Gun entrepreneurs and sales leaders and business wingmen, can adapt to change, lead with courage, and build cultures of collaboration and trust. This program is going to be super high energy and an awesome opportunity for you to network and engage with others who are committed to growth and excellence, just like you. So pack your flight gear and get ready to push up the throttles in Panama City Beach on the 17th and 18th of September.
Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today at upgradeyourlifetour.com.
We look forward to flying with you.
So kind of a fun video there that Waldo and Laban put together.
So you can hear me, Tony?
Yeah. Were you? Am I cut out or are you cut out?
See, I think you're cut out. I'm seeing like a screen with some gray on the bottom, and it says "Be the Rhea" up at top. So I don't see you, but I see the tail end of what we just watched.
Interesting. Let me see if I can. See if I can. If that's showing. No, it should be. What about now?
I think when I hit the tap for sound, I listened to it, and I'm not sure if I should have done that or not.
That's all right. I'm going to drop you out of the stream and right back in. So don't go anywhere.
That's it. Oh, okay, I see you at the top of the screen there, and then you disappeared.
Okay.
Okay, I see me. I'm gone.
You're still not seeing. Oh, here it is. How about this?
Well, there it is.
Okay, so that might have actually. What it was the buttons right at the bottom here. Anyway, we're back. Everyone's back. So, Joe's on. Look at this. Joe's on.
Hey, Joe, how you doing, buddy? You're one of my favorite humans too.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I can see and hear you both. All right.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's good. Okay.
So we were doing that video. So if Nick and Ryan are still on here, this is my look I'm giving you guys because you guys owe me a video and some stuff. I love you too, Joe. Love you too, brother.
Love you, buddy.
Yeah. So Laban and Waldo and the speakers of most Brian, Nick have provided their little promo videos and intro videos. Actually, Nick, I can't say Nick. Nick's got his. But they've all given their titles and their bullet points on what the value is that's going to come out of it. So I've been working on updating the website, getting things up to speed. We're really, like I said, after this event that's happening in London. Look at this. Here he comes.
It's on the way.
It's on the way. Is that the checks in the mail, Ryan? But after this event in London, I was talking about on Saturday, then we're going to hit it real hard. I've been kind of dragging the feet on hitting the promo button real hard on that because I didn't want to interfere with our friends that are doing that out there.
Awesome.
Yep. Checks in the mail. He's like, yeah. Well, cool. So now, I don't know.
By the way, congratulations to Laban on his recent marriage.
Oh, yeah. For everyone that doesn't know, Laban and Anna are now officially married.
Yeah, nice night.
Actually, a week ago yesterday.
Right.
So that was congratulations for those guys.
They got married by Elvis in Vegas.
Yes, they did. And it was too. It was funny you mentioned that when you sent that voicemail to me. I'm like, no, I think it was actually Elvis that did the marriage, you know.
Wow, nice. Yeah.
So cool. Let's if you don't mind, do you mind if I get a little more personal with you?
Whatever you want. We're here to have some fun and be transparent. I think we need more authenticity in the world today.
Right. Yes.
It's off the market. Okay.
Well, cool. So let's hear a little bit of the story. I mean, you've got your current wife now of 14 years. Tell us a little bit of the story of how we got there.
Okay. I was married once before. My first wife, Darcy, we'd been married for 23 years, together for 25. And she had a long illness and she passed away in March of 2007. And my current wife, Patty, we'd known each other for a long time. She was a listener of my radio shows. Used to call me on the night show when I had a program called Make It or Break It, which I'd play a brand new song and I have the audience vote on it, whether we should keep it or get rid of it. So make it or break it. And she called every single night. She was a regular, along with a whole bunch of other people. Ironically enough, she had won a contest to what's more transparent than Grant? That's funny. But Patty, my current wife, had won a contest on the show, and my first wife and I met her in a limousine at her house with her daughter, picked her up, brought her out to this brand new concert facility. We all had dinner together. My first wife took a picture of my now wife, Patty, and her daughter backstage, which sat on my current wife, Patty's desk. You're all going to be quizzed on this later on, for years. And then when Patty had heard that my first wife had passed away, I made mention of it on a radio show I was doing. She was devastated, turned over, went to the side of the road and just called me and said, "I'm so, so sorry." And I thanked her. A year later, I went to the concert hall, again, ironically enough, where we all were together years earlier. Patty showed up at the concert that I was emceeing, sat with each other, chatted. It was about a year later. And we started dating, and bam, God led us to where we are now. We went to Athens, Greece. We got married there, and the rest is history. So I tell people all the time, basically, Tony, that I married the love of my life twice.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's amazing right there.
I really did. I wasn't meant to be alone. I felt that I had way too much love to give, and she felt the same way. She's a 20-year breast cancer survivor, and so we value every single moment. After my first wife, after what she's been through, we say all the time, if it ain't cancer, we're not going to worry about it.
Right.
That we're just going to go through life and enjoy every day, because there's no guarantees.
That's all right. That's absolutely right.
Yep.
Yes, exactly, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, go ahead. What were you going to say?
And so it's worked out great. So we've been married for 14 years. We're business partners. I have an amazing stepdaughter, and we just value life every day. We get up and just thank God for another day, and just not take anything for granted. That's for sure.
Nice. Living a gratitude lifestyle is a great way to be. Great way to be. I wish more people did, and it's definitely one that I do as much as I can to help others see that in their daily lives, what they can be grateful for.
I know you've been very successful in that. A mentor of mine told me a long time ago that gratitude is riches, complaint is poverty. And I never forgot that. I mean, it's human nature to complain once in a while, but we do. I end up, just kind of slap myself and say, "Hey, listen, you got it pretty good. No matter who you are, there are at least half the people would love to be in your position." And somebody was complaining today at the gym about something, and I said, "Listen, you could be living in Ukraine right now. Our worst day in this country is better than most people's best day in many parts of the world." It's all perspective.
It is really all perspective. And it's like you were talking about at the beginning of the show, it's about choice too.
Yeah, it is a choice.
Yeah. You have the choice whether to believe that or not. You have the choice on whether you want to live with that poverty mindset or the abundance mindset or the gratitude mindset. And
I've always been a big believer, a mentor of mine also said, I've had so many great mentors in my life, that you can use words to describe your situation, or you can use words to change your situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to use words that are going to change my situation. If I have a lot of issues going on, I'm not going to describe it and talk about. I believe that words mean things. And when you put things out there, what you say about yourself and your situation can manifest. If you're always speaking negatively about your own life and your situation, you're going to be living a mediocre life. You're going to be living a life of defeat. But if you speak as if you're already there, using powerful words of where you're going, it could just change your whole trajectory of your life.
And this is a big reason why you and I are on the same page all the time. That's one of my huge things. And it's one of the things that I work with my clients and with even folks that aren't clients. It's about the vision and living that vision like you're in it already.
That's right.
Speaking positivity into your world, because if you the negative self-talk, the self-doubt, it's a killer.
It is killer. And like we say each and every day, you have that choice of what words to use. So you can correct people's verbiage, like when they say, "Oh, I don't know if I can't afford this." No. How can we afford this? Right. "Oh man, I have to go to work today. I'm so tired." No. You get to go to work today.
Yep.
It changes your whole perspective and your whole day.
You're absolutely right. And one of my mentors recently came to me with was two different phrases. Was one, how so many people in the world say, "Have a nice day."
Right.
Or "Have a great day."
Yep.
What if you were to change one of those words to either make a great day or create a great day?
Right.
By saying "have a nice day," the subconscious mind is saying, well, this person's demanding that I have a nice day. I mean, even though it's not, most people are like, in their conscious mind are like, yeah, cool, thanks. When you say create or make a great day, now you're offering up a challenge to them to go out and make that and create that day for themselves.
And that's right. Another great thing to say too is when I see people, I say, hey, what's good today? It makes them stop and think, hey, what's good today? Yeah. And then they, sometimes they pause, this and that. But again, you're getting to think in a positive mindset. What's good today?
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of saying, how are you doing today?
How you doing? Same old, blah, blah, blah. That's what the response is.
Just another day.
Another day of paradise you'll hear every single day. Right. But get them thinking, what's good today?
Right. Or what are you thankful for today? What exactly? What's good today?
Exactly.
And it's amazing. And it's amazing just in general. In the general population, how many people are just walking through life with this
sleepwalking.
Yes. Sleepwalking. Thank you.
Sleepwalking through life, getting up each and every day. It's like Groundhog Day. The same thing over and over and over again. I mean, it's true. I mean, we can't control everything. When we go to the workplace, we may not like our job, but at least we have one. We may not like the people we're working with. Well, maybe we're there to bless them in whatever way. And we never quite know what God has in store, but we have to pass the test each and every day. If God's going to trust us with much, he needs to trust us with little. Yep. So we just have to go out there and just master the little things, be the best person we can be, and then he will trust us with even more. And that's so key. So when things are thrown at me, and they're thrown at all of us, folks, none of us were promised a free ride, but we were all promised the grace to be able to handle it and pivot and move forward. And if we can go out there and pass those tests all the time, we're going to have a much more fulfilling life.
Absolutely. But also that's also why people like us are here on this earth, is to help others pass those tests.
Exactly right. Just pour in the people, speak faith in the people, I speak to people the way that God sees them, not the way they see themselves. I speak to where they're going to be. I speak to where I see them going. And it could change their whole life. Just by saying one kind word to someone, it could change their whole destiny. Because most of the world is trying to put them down, telling them that they can't do this. Everybody's so quick to criticize, but very few people are quick to uplift because they think it's going to take away from them or for whatever reason. There's plenty of success to go around for everybody watching now, everybody on planet Earth. And the more we bless, what blesses one blesses all. So go out there and be good to people.
Absolutely. And it's not even just the speaking part, because that's a huge part of it. But I mean, even something as simple as a smile.
That's
just walking through the grocery store, I make a point to either say something positive or smile at every person. I may not be able to go out of my way to talk to everybody, but at least throw them a smile.
You're going down. You're right, and and they usually respond in kind right away. You smile like that. I've always said the smile is your greatest accessory, but it's also a business card as well.
Yeah, sure is.
So you just go out there and smile to somebody and compliment people, but make sure that it's genuine. So if somebody's doing a great job, like today I was at the coffee shop and this girl was behind the counter and she was all by herself. You could tell somebody called in sick, and there were a long line of people, and you could tell some people getting a little bit frustrated. When I got up to her and I said, Ange, man, you are doing a great job today. It's amazing how you're able to handle everything with all these people here. But when did somebody call in sick? Yeah, somebody called in sick. Well, I said, man, you're really grace under fire. You're doing a great job. And when I see your boss, I'm going to tell him how lucky he is to have you here. And I made sure that everybody in the place heard it, and their whole attitude just transformed and changed. They became a lot more compassionate. And it made her day, I'm sure.
Well, absolutely. And so one of the other ones that along those same lines, I don't know, are you familiar with Jim Rohn?
Mm-hmm.
So one thing is Jim Rohn,
I watch a lot of his stuff on YouTube too.
I love his stuff, and I've listened and read his stuff, listened to his old audios, which are now all digital.
Right.
And one of the things that I've actually adopted that he does or teaches that I love for the same reasons you're talking about is when you're in a restaurant or similar is tip ahead of time.
Yes, that's a good idea.
it's a phenomenal. It works wonders. I mean, we were at a restaurant. My family and I were. It was at Chili's the other day, and this server came up. And first of all, I asked her for a change for 100 because it's all I had, and I gave her 20. I said, "Hey, this is for you." And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "No, this is for you. You're doing an amazing job." And not only do you make that person's day right then and there, but you're also going to get the best service that you ever had, and they're going to leave smiling. They're going to leave just happy as a clam that you took the time to appreciate them before they even started. You appreciated that they're working their butt off to help serve you, and they're going to make sure you have the best service possible, and you get to be as polite back to them as you could have been without the negative interaction.
I love it. They're never, ever going to forget you either.
Right.
You come into that restaurant again, they will never forget you. And that's going to be I mean, you're not doing it for that reason per se, because you want to bless that person and make them feel valued, which they do. But that is that's phenomenal. Because we always tip really, really well, Patty and I. And if even sometimes, like, you'll tip your server, but she gets a really good drink from the bar. Yep. Really good bartender. On the way out, we throw that person like an extra, $20.
Yep.
Or if somebody else is serving too, and they said, "Oh, by the way, do you folks need some more bread? Or do you want some more plates here?" And it comes back, and she's not really our server. On the way out, we'll throw her an extra $10, $15 just for that little interaction. And some people say, "Well, that's a lot of money with the price of gas nowadays and everything else. We don't have that expendable." Even if you do something, $3, $4, $5, or even just a thank you, whatever you can afford. Everybody's different.
Right.
But what we believe that in our home, that money doesn't belong to us anyway. Right. It's a resource. The source is up there. So we're going to be rewarded by doing the right thing anyway. And so we've been blessed, and we want to share those blessings with others.
Absolutely. You're 100% correct. And my wife and I have always been the same thing. We've always been heavy tippers, if not over tippers.
Yeah. And we go with other couples, Tony, sometimes, and they almost sometimes feel uncomfortable when we talk about the tips, and they go, "Really? You're going to leave that?" I said, no, you guys can do whatever you want to do, but
don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is just what we do, especially during COVID and after COVID, where a lot of these restaurants, they got crushed. Yeah. We want to do everything we can to help them, because they got to feed their families as well.
Yeah, and we're fortunate down here in Florida. We stayed open most of the time. The restaurant industry got hurt early on. Actually, believe it or not, it was the tourist industry down here that got hurt the hardest.
Right.
Everything. The short period of time that Florida was closed down, unfortunately, happened right around that spring break time, where down here, that's where tourist season happens. And so you've got all these hotels, Airbnbs, all these resorts that were just packed to the hilt with maximum reservations that all just went gone, cut right off. All the restaurants that count on that industry. So they recovered a little faster than they may have there up north where you guys are at, but not that the initial impact was huge.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, no matter what, there's always repercussions out there, but we just have to do our part and just wake up each and every day, be grateful, and realize there's a higher power. So
there is, and like we just talked about, it's important that folks like us or anybody who has any means to do that, even if it's as simple as a smile or hey, how's it going? Yeah,
you want people to feel pressure, because some people are really hurting. I mean, I was at the gas station the other day. I noticed a person in front of me who just stopped and put a gallon of gas in their car, and they drove off. And that person, you could tell, is really struggling. Yeah. When you put like 1 or 2 gallons of gas in there, if I knew ahead of time, if I noticed ahead of time, I would have offered, "Hey, take my credit card, fill up your tank. So what if it's an extra $50, $60, $70? So what? Can you imagine what that can do for that person? I'm sure if he's only got money for a gallon or 2, he's got a lot of bigger problems when he goes home.
That's right.
Yeah.
And back to the sleepwalking through life. There's so many people that don't even recognize something like that when it's happening.
Right.
In general, just people in general. And I'm not saying anything negative about anybody. It just, that's what we do. We get so tunnel visioned on what our day to day is happening. And we forget that there's this whole world. There's other people in this world that are doing this, Hey, Nick, Joe's actually been interacting. He's been in and out of here. He just had to hop off. Here's his last comment. So he is spending time with the boys, but yeah, Joe's been in here.
Yeah. And I'm glad, I'm glad to see these, these comments from people coming in. It makes you feel good that you're connecting. And thank you so much for letting us know, folks, that we're at least connecting in some way. Thank you. And thanks for doing what you do. I'm sure to help in your community as well.
Oh, and it's so much fun. I mean, I'm in all honesty, I always want to do more. I wish I could do more. That's another reason why this event is not only happening, but happening here locally in our community here. I talked to the chamber, I talked to the folks at the resort, and they're like, nobody's ever done anything like this here. Nobody. And I'm like, well, I want to serve as many people as I can as fast as I can in one location. So here we are.
Yeah. I mean, I get that too. It's like, there's only so many hours in a day, but we always say busy people get things done. But my wife keeps telling me all the time, you got to learn to say no once in a while. And it's very difficult for me to do that, especially if it's, a nonprofit or a group of people that can really use your help. It's a Tuesday night, or it's a Wednesday night. Yeah, let me go and do that. Maybe it's only for 3 or 4 hours, whatever. But, with our DJ business booming the way it is, thank goodness, because like you were saying before, people want to get out. And we're going to have probably the best year of weddings and parties. Actually, we're booking in the late 2024 right now in many, many cases for our company. But it's Thursday through Sunday. I go full throttle between DJ, our health and wellness company, radio, mentoring people. So Monday, Tuesday, some Wednesdays in the summer, I'll make that my weekend. And that's a really good time to have a weekend because, most people are working Monday, Tuesday. Right. And you go to the beach, there's not a lot of people there, at least not up in this area. Right. And the stores aren't as busy. So there's a positive side to everything.
Yes, there is. There really is. And speaking of which, what led you down that path? I meant to bring that up earlier. What brought you from radio into the weddings? I get the DJ part, but how did the weddings come about?
About the same time I started in the radio biz, I had a program director say to me at the time, whatever you do, it's a very transient business. You definitely want to have something as a plan B. So I went out and borrowed $1,000 back at the time, which is probably like, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 today. And I went out there and bought a sound system, and I had my records back in the day, and albums, and went out there and I booked an event for a police union, went out there and played records for the crowd, had them all dancing, didn't really know what the heck I was doing at the time, but my passion carried me through. And I just loved to share music with an audience. Yeah. It's always like, I just love the interaction of a crowd. Yes. And then I hustled. I went to all the schools in the area, said, listen, I'll do your first dance for you for free. If you really like it, just promise that you'll book me for the next 2 or 3 and you'll pay me for it. And I'll still give you a great rate. So I hustled, and led from just me to now 6 DJs, looking to hire a 7th. And we've been now we have billboards up in the New Haven area here, Hartford area, and we've really taken it to a whole new level. So I have an amazing team of DJs. You're only as good as your team. And I have some of the best talent, up here in Connecticut. And we just love it. Weddings, parties, class reunions, bat mitzvahs, kids dances, Sweet 16, whatever people need us for, we can do it.
I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna pull up. I think this is correct me if I'm wrong, but this is sorry, my dogs are going a little nuts here. Is this what I didn't mean to remove it. Is that what your billboard looks like?
Yeah.
So for everybody watching, this is this billboard. Now, where do you have it? Where do you have this billboard at?
I have it at really great locations. It's in New Haven right off of I-95. I know you have an I-95 down there in Florida, but it's like the major cross section in New Haven and a couple locations, which is kind of like our backyard, New Haven County in Connecticut, and real high traffic areas. A lot of traffic jams during drive time, which we love, which means we're going to get a lot of views.
Right.
It's been great. It's been great for branding because I'm on the radio all the time on multiple stations, so they hear the name John Cadillac Saville all the time. But you can't ever take that for granted. You have to have multiple platforms going on at the same time, especially during prime time, which is not so much now as far as people getting engaged. Engagement season is usually Thanksgiving through Valentine's Day. Right. That's when the majority of people get engaged, but they're still getting engaged now. So you want to go against conventional wisdom sometime while people are not advertising now because it's not prime engagement season. I go a little bit more full throttle. Right. Because as you know, that you go the road less traveled.
That's right. That's right.
No, there's a lot fewer people on that road.
Yes, there is. That's why I like it. That's why I like to take the scenic route sometimes.
Me too.
It's funny you mentioned traffic. That is one thing that I definitely don't miss about where we come from. I don't know how bad it gets up there, but us being from Seattle area, we used to get some horrendous traffic. And now here in the panhandle of Florida, I get upset if too many people are stopped at a stoplight. It's like, I think back, I'm like, wait. No, this is nothing.
Yeah, we got a fair amount of traffic up here, but a lot of people are working from home now. And I built a studio in my house just before COVID hit. Perfect timing. So I can actually do all my radio shows from right here in my basement. We're set back in the woods, in the shoreline area of Connecticut. And when I'm looking out, you see nothing but woods, wildlife. Don't even have to cut the back lawn or everything. It's just all wild. And it's just beautiful. And it's nice and quiet and peaceful. So I can do all my radio shows down here if I choose.
And it's funny, your area, I had lots of opportunities to make it there, and I never actually did. So my older brother, Chris, actually went to the Coast Guard Academy there in New London.
New London, sure.
And then lived in Hartford for 3 years, a few years after that for a job. And I'm like, and all that time, it just happened to be poor timing from when I was working on my career and everything else. And so as soon as I finally found the time to get out there, of course, he moves back. And so it was like,
oh, wow. Well, tell him thanks for serving. I wear this bracelet. I'm not sure if you can see it here, but I wear this bracelet in honor of the military. Mm-hmm. It's got every single military branch on this bracelet, including the Coast Guard, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. And I always wear that in honor of the military all the time. So I just have so much respect.
Yeah, we couldn't see that. Put it in front of like my screen.
Okay.
Like if you're looking, you can see it. A little bit down to your left. Now up, a little bit more to your left, up a little more. There we are. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's got all the different military branches on there. I just love this thing.
No, that's great. And so we're real heavy Air Force Navy right here. And and we're very, very supportive. Tyndall Air Force Base down here, we got pretty well wiped out after Hurricane Michael. And so they decided, the nice thing they decided to do is they're going to not only rebuild it, but rebuild it to be one of the most premier Air Force bases in the whole country. Wow. And so, and not just premier, but technologically advanced, biggest everything. So a lot of the economy around this particular area was either tourism or military. And when the hurricane came through and kind of busted that up, we lost a lot of the economy for a while. Now Tyndall's starting to pick back up. The Navy base is picking back up. It's coming back. And a lot of the people just were telling others, just hang on. It's coming. Just be patient.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad was Navy, and my late father-in-law was a Navy SEAL. Yeah, so those Navy SEAls are badass, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They really are. Yeah.
In fact, another guy that I'll probably end up getting on the show here in the near future, Jonathan Bates. He wasn't a Navy SEAL, but he went to some of the training for what he did. And I don't know how much I can actually share. Let's just say he was very good at diffusing explosive devices underwater.
Yeah, that's above my pay grade,
right? And last time I met him for lunch, he was telling a story about how he got nose slammed by one of the largest great white sharks he's ever seen.
Oh my God. Wow.
Now, didn't attack him. Apparently, again, that's a common misconception with sharks. They don't actually typically attack people, but they will be more than happy to nose bump you. And apparently he was in the process of defusing something and got slammed from behind to turn around and see something the size of a boat.
Wow. And he's able to live to tell about it too.
Right. Let's just say he said he probably, I think the exact phrase he used was, it was the fastest diffuse job he ever did after that.
I would think. Yeah, I would think. Wow. That's some serious guts doing that stuff, man. A lot of respect. A lot of respect. And I definitely thank anybody that I see, not just military, but police force, anyone that serves their communities like that. Absolutely. Police, firefighters, EMTs, all those people that are putting their lives on the line to help people like us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And it's a shame, in my opinion, that there's been such a bad rap recently. And that's why I'm more than happy to thank each and every one of them every time I see them.
Well, I mean, I proudly wear a wristband. I have it right on my wrist here. It says "Back the Blue."
Yep.
I proudly, I've always backed the police. Some of my best friends are police officers, and I think it's just too bad that you're always going to have a bad apple no matter what. Right. You're going to have some bad DJs. You're going to have bad this, bad that. You can't, have one or two people kind of represent the entire, whatever it may be, whatever business. Right. In my mind, I mean, police officers are amazing. They're servers, and I've met very, very few questionable ones in my life, maybe one or two in my entire life. So to base a whole force on one or two incidents, to me is just, it's not right. And they have my full support.
Likewise, and I agree. It's you can't put the whole collective in on one two bad apples. So
that's right.
Cool. Well, we're getting close here, John. So what words of wisdom would you like to leave our audience with?
I think just each and every day, like we mentioned earlier, might have some people tuning in for the first time right now. Thank you, by the way. Just getting up each and every day and just being the best you. And it sounds kind of cliche, but look for ways to go out there and serve. I know you're all about serving. You can't serve enough, Tony, and that's the way I am too. I just can't wait. It's my DNA. It's my adrenaline rush. Just getting up and being able to help other people. Because as I get a little bit older now, I think more and more about legacy. I think more and more about experiences too. Material things are great. I think it's wonderful to have those, but I think more and more about just getting out there and experiencing good things, whether it be vacations, whether it be coffees with friends, whether it be dinners, whether it be helping out somebody that needs that help. I'm always praying for opportunities that God puts people in my path that I can help. Take me from barely enough to more than enough, so I can not only pay my bills, but also have the ability to help somebody else pay their bills at the same time. So to me, it's about serving, and I don't think we can do it enough. And just being good to people. There's so much negativity nowadays, especially with social media. People can say whatever they want. They can hide behind social media. And they would say things on social media that they would never say to you face to face. Right. So I would say just think about what you say, because those words can really cut like a knife, so to speak. So just think about what you say, and think about that person you may not even know, that they have a wife who's sick, or they have a child that's going through something. They're going through challenges. Every single person we know is fighting a major battle. Right. Everybody, no matter what they look like, the car they drive, the house they live in. So let's just think before we speak, think before we judge, and just be good to people.
That's exactly right. We don't know people's stories. We don't know what they're going through. And it's not worth it. It is not worth it to not be nice to people and to not live with that service attitude and that gratitude attitude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But this has been an absolute honor to be on this, and Tony, you blessed my life with the friendship. I remember speaking with you and Laban a couple of times. Joe Perone, I know, who's been watching, in and out, had, lunch with him a few weeks ago. What a gentleman. Ryan and Nick and whoever else is, listening in tonight, watching. Thank you. And I pray for you and your families as well.
Absolutely. And for everybody watching, again, John Cadillac Saville, thank you so much for being a guest on our show. And I'm so grateful that you're able to make it. And we will definitely do it again real soon.
Thank you.